Annyeonghaseyo! Hello lovers of Korea and Taekwondo practitioners. You are welcome once again to the Kccn online Taekwondo training series. Today's episode is centered on essential areas of Taekwondo grading. Grading, yes, simply defined, grading has to do with examination or tests. And as we know in the education circle, that grading is a continuous process, which means in every Taekwondo grading exercise, there should be 30% reserved for continuous assessment, while the actual grading day should be centered on 70% of scores. We must know as well that in Taekwondo, there is a minimum number of hours or training session that a person must undergo before he or she is qualified to sit for a test. Simply, most classes are done twice in a week, and a minimum of 2 hours is required, which means on a monthly basis, a trainee is expected to have undergone 4 times 4 hours, that is 16 hours in a month. And cumulatively, we have 3 months of training before a test is conducted. Then this differs from club to club, depending on how frequently you train and the length of hours you use in your training. But I will not bore you with all these details in this episode. Let's just go straight to what areas should be given more attention when grading your students in Taekwondo. Simply, there are 4 areas. One is the oral aspect, which is very important. The first stage of any grading should be centered on oral. You don't stress the students before you go into the oral assessment, which means the first 30 minutes, for instance, should be centered on oral assessment, which could be in form of quiz, it could be in form of writing. You could go to the extent of making them to write a test based on what you have taught them. This is why it's very good for every Taekwondo class to have a scheme of work drawn out of a curriculum. Here at the Kccn, we have a very standard curriculum that we work with. And based on the cadre of students we have, the curriculum is streamlined to meet their needs based on their ranks. The oral class or quiz or writing should take about 30 minutes of the grading day. Then from there, they disperse while some of the class attendants and class assistants embark on marking of the scripts. Then the gradees or students are moved into the session of warm-up. Warm-up is very important because you don't have students, you don't test them on physical skills without giving them proper warm-up. Then the warm-up, after warm-up, we move into stationary skills, because stationary skills further warms them up. And basically, the skills are the hand techniques of punching, the blocks, the strikes. No matter the rank of students you are grading, you must start with the tumsogi. Then punch. And what you look for in punching is not just to punch. You see the alignment of their hands. For instance, when punching, this is how to know if you are punching well or not. Let them do 2 hands, then remove 1. Where the other hand is tells you the position of your punch at the middle level. When you're asking them to go old school, same thing at face level, remove 1 hand, it tells you where your punch must go. Some people punch out like this. No, don't do 2 hands, remove 1. It tells you where your punch must go when punching face level. Same with Are Jurige. Punch down, 2 hands, remove 1. It tells you where your hand must be. Those are things to look out for when you have a student to punch. It's not just punching, the precision, the position of the hands. Then you go into blocks, different blocks. When you're testing on back, for instance, don't only test for the hand position, the final hand position. Look at the transition of the hand. The hand must come from here, then it turns out. Those are things to look out for when asking people to do bakatmaki. And look at the level, the symmetry. Is it old good you're asking or Mompton level? Same thing goes to hand maki. You look at the transition, the symmetry of the hand as it comes. Not just the hand coming like this. Does it just come like this? This is wrong. It comes from outside. That is turning in Taekwondo. Stretching, turning in Taekwondo. Same goes for Olgu maki. The hand can be like this up. It starts to come from here, then it turns. It turns up. And there's this fusion of hands. The turning. And the hand must slant a little. Those are things to look out for. Same goes to Ansona Maki, Yang Sona Maki, Are Sona Maki. We go to Kunga Maki, Santo. And remember, everything we do with closed hand, we can do with open hand. I can do this like this, I can do it like this. Then that is the first phase of physical assessment. They will now go into further skills that have to do with self-defense. Oshinsu is a branch of Taekwondo. Your test must include that. Then after that, Oshinsu has to do with, depending on the level they have. It could be simple Oshinsu where somebody attack and somebody defend. That's simple. On Akubi, then Apsogi and Akubi. Then we can now go to complex Oshinsu, how to evade kicks, how to counter, how to strike. Then that is that. The next branch of Taekwondo that must be touched is Kyokpa, breaking. You test based on the level they are, the rank they have determines the complexity of the breaking. For white belters going to yellow belt, they might not break because they're just coming. But from yellow belts up, just simple break techniques of Apchagi, Apoligi. Then from blue belts upward, you can include turning kick, Dodo Chegi, to face level. Then from that level upward, you can now go into Tuo Chagi, Tuo Apchagi, Duba dancing Chagi, jumping kick, jumping on stationary, moving double leg in the air to kick. Then you can now go to turning kicks, 360 and the rest. It all depends on the rank of the students you are grading. Then the last two areas, very important. Pumse is very important, very, very important. Then you go into Pumse for them, and sparring should be the last thing. Because if you put sparring before Pumse and other things, they might get injured and they will not be able to give you the best of their performances in other areas. That's why sparring should always be the last area of test when dealing with your students. I think with this short video, every coach out there should draw up a scheme of work. That's the first thing, because it's the scheme of work you have drawn for every level of students you have that will determine what to test them on at the end of the class. And don't forget the number of hours. A minimum of 4 times 4 hours in a month is needed. That is 16 hours is needed in a month, and a student should go through 3 months before he or she is qualified to go for test, which means you are expected to stay for 6 months on a belt, and that's what makes you a very proficient black belter. When you go through the normal, no rush in Taekwondo, no rush at all. Let a student go through 3 months before moving from the first level of a belt to the next level. So 6 months on a belt. Though, for those who train harder, who dedicate more time to training, that time could be shortened. Thank you very much for always following the Kccn online Taekwondo training series. We'll be back with the next episode on a bigger and fresher mood. Kamsahamnida!